Happy weekend, my dear crystal lovers, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new around here, my name is AM and I am the founder of AVIUVI. If you go to aviuvi.com, you will see the most spectacular and amazing ethically sourced crystals from around the world. Now, the shop is a little bit on the thinner side right now because I have had such busy months, I would say. March, April were just crazy busy. So I haven't had that much time to make these weekend videos, but I love doing them and I love showing you guys around. And what you just saw were a trip that we took to some limestone caves that are kind of near the plant house. And I love taking you guys on these trips because I get to tell you a little bit about the context about mining. You know, mining is of course a big subject to talk about when you talk about crystals, and particularly ethically sourced crystals. We don't have crystal mines here in Denmark, but I still want to take you into this whole industry and talk a little bit about that. Obviously, I love anything that is related to crystal, even the tiniest bit. But we went to these caves and they are just spectacular. So if you're ever in the area, and I'll leave the link below, go and check them out because it is so beautiful. So these are limestone caves, and it's not natural caves. It has been used for mining limestone for building materials. That is basically what we have here in Denmark. You know, Denmark is super flat, so we don't really have mountains and those kinds of things that would be required to get crystals. I've talked about amber a lot of times, and amber is kind of our crystal, even though it's not a crystal. But anyway, so we went to visit these closed down caves, or this closed down mine, and they have made it into kind of a museum type thing, or like a nature experience, you might say. It's not rewilding like the last one that I showed you with the open pit mine that we visited the last time, but this one is underground, and it is, we had the most just really strange, weird experience being here. So I think it's about 60 kilometers of pathway underground. Correct me if I'm wrong, because that just sounds insane, right? But it's only like 2 kilometers that's pathway where you can walk and be tourists like we were. But it's electrically lit up, and it's like, I think I'm gonna say this 1,000 times, it's so amazingly beautiful. And I'll show you some more photos of it. So what you have in here is you have these really narrow pathways, and then there are like cathedral size pathways, and there are actually two lakes, like artificial lakes, that were created during the mining, and they've made these beautiful bridges and this really interesting landscape that you walk through. 250 million years ago, this area was covered by sea, and the climate that was there at the time was really dry. In the following period, a thick layer of clay and sand from the Scandinavian rocks and later the chalk and limestone was deposited here. The Danish limestone consists of shells from one-celled algae. When the organisms died, the shells sank to the bottom of the sea, building up this thick layer of clayous mud, and this layer of mud grew thicker and thicker, and the pressure built up. So that's what you can see in these pathways, these layers of natural history I just think it's mind-blowing to me that this was covered by the sea, and we were basically walking in the remains of these sea creatures. So yeah, maybe that's just me being a little bit poetic here, but it's very fascinating. And of course we brought Anga along because we want him to know everything about his native country and this area that we're in. I have to do a little bit more research. We came and we went straight into the caves, and we were there for hours, and we didn't even realize that time has passed so fast. So we didn't actually get to do a whole lot of research. There was a whole museum part that we didn't even get to. When we came out of the caves, we were just puzzled because time had just went on so fast in there. So we definitely want to go back and see some more and explore some more. Also because there was some of the area around that kind of looked like Viking graves. Viking graves look like little hills, but it could also be just materials that they've piled on and they made these little hills. But I want to look into that because it actually would be a natural place to be back in the days here in Denmark, because there was a natural flow of water, lots of vegetation. So I actually really would like to look into the history a little bit more of what was going on here way before it was mined. I love those kinds of things, and I would have loved to tell Anga all about it, but I don't know, we became so blissed out from being down there. The only thing that wasn't so enjoyable is that there is a part of the cave that is used to store cheese, and Anga, he is not a big cheese lover, so we had to get out of that area really quickly. That was the only thing. Otherwise it was just amazing and beautiful. Really also interesting to see how, like, there was no vegetation in there, but for example the artificial lamps underneath, you could see that there was moss growing. So I mean, there's just so many layers to this, and the opening, you can see the opening was kind of green of moss, and you had these different levels of limestone. And yeah, I have to research a little bit more, so probably I'm gonna take you on another trip another time and talk a little bit more about this area, because I was definitely very, very intrigued by it. Anyway, that's kind of what we've been up to, taking these little trips. We actually took about a week off just to relax after a couple of very hectic and busy months. But you know, there's few things that I love more than being busy, so I am just super happy and filled. And now the market season is kind of over for now, and then it's gonna return again a little bit later in the late summer. So I'm gonna do the best I can to do a lot of back end, like getting all of the crystals up on the shop, getting the new beautiful wooden pedestals up on the shop too, and just doing a lot of like retrograde kinds of things. When I'm busy and you know, things are rolling, I get really caught up in that, and I kind of forget to do the other stuff that is also very important. And of course I want to accommodate you guys who are not in Denmark, who can't come to these markets or can't just call me up and visit and get crystals. So of course I want to do all of the back end things for you guys, and so that all of these beautiful crystals are available for you too. What else have we been up to? So of course we've been doing a little bit of gardening, but we've also had time to thrift shop a little bit. I got a new vase back here. I actually took all of the plants out of the apartment because when it becomes spring and summer up here, it's a little bit like living in a greenhouse. So the palm tree that was back here was completely overgrown, and the other stuff that we had, we couldn't have it here anymore. So I'm on the lookout for some new plants for the apartment too. So I'm just gonna turn the camera around. So I put over here, it looks teeny tiny small, but this is actually a pretty big pyrite back here. Maybe I'll show you. I'm not sure that I'm gonna keep it here because it's not too obvious here. I want it to be somewhere where I can just look at it all the time because it is so stunning. But also, I have this pyrite over here. So I have this beautiful piece of pyrite here. And while I have you on the go, and while I have you up, this was another thrift find, and you know I love putting crystals in bowls, so another thrift find was actually this one. I don't know if you can see it, but I put all of the amazing, what are they called, essential oils into this one that I got recently. And this is actually an iron glue bucket, an antique iron glue bucket. It has like these two compartments in there, and it's a little bit crowded down here with all of the essential oils, but up here it actually looks quite all right. You can't really see that it's completely stuffed up. Okay, so let me just put you back here. This is gonna be a crazy little video, I can tell. I actually moved out of the office for a little while because I could feel that I didn't really have time to be there as much as I wanted to. So we have a few more crystals at home than we usually do because you know, I didn't have time to go there. I really loved it, and I would definitely recommend, if you're in Copenhagen, to go to this office space. It's called Nomad, and it's in an area called Nørrebro. The people there are awesome, really nice. I couldn't find the time to go to the space. So maybe a little bit later I will. Andreas, he's still there, but that meant that we do have a few crystals that we used to have in the office but are home with us now. Okay, so I have this one. I've shown you this before, but I love it so much. It's apophyllite, pre-loved apophyllite, and you know, I don't necessarily want to go out and buy new apophyllite. It's from India, from an area called Pune, and I haven't been to India, so I don't exactly know the working conditions here. So I knew that I love this crystal. It's an amazing crystal, but I knew that I wanted to get it pre-loved if I was getting some. And it has these unbelievable inclusions in it. So, and this one is great for meditation. And then the other one that I have home with me now is this one, and this is honestly one of my favorites. It is also a pre-loved piece. It's Carrara marble with these, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a tiny, completely black smoky quartz in here. It is so stunning. Also a great one for meditation. And then of course we have this insane piece of pyrite too. And I just put it in this wooden bowl from a thrift shop. You know, most of the things that we have at home here are thrifted because We love it. Maybe I should do another thrift shop video soon with you guys. It's kind of been a while since we went out, so maybe that's gonna be the next one. But that was basically it for today. Let me just adjust the camera. That was it for today, you guys. If you like these weekend videos, please make sure to like, share and subscribe. It helps me to know what you want me to talk about, and it helps others to find this content if that is what they're looking for. I hope that you'll have the most amazing and wonderful weekend with so much love to you and yours.